What's going on, everybody? Jeff Holiday here, and today I wanted to make a rather brief, we'll see if it's brief, video on a few different topics. And the reason why I'm going to be lumping all these topics together is, while I could do the tried and true YouTube method of, hey, I've got this one story, I'm going to stretch it out into 10 minutes, I don't really want to do that. I'd feel kind of scummy. So instead, today, you're going to get 3 stories that are going to make you mad, and 1 story that's going to make you glad. Now, the first story we're going to be covering has to do with Cal Jam, or California Jam. Now, I didn't know anything about this convention until just today when I was looking it up. California Jam started in 2007. Dr. Bill DeMoss, doctor, you'll see why I air quote him in a second, had this dream of trying to combine a TED Talk with an AC/DC rock concert. So now they have musical guests and then a bunch of speaking guests and trying to talk about revolutions in health and healthcare. You'll see in a second why this is completely batshit crazy. You see, if we go and look at 2019 speakers, and they just held it this year. Well, let's go down. Let's see who's here. Billy DeMoss, by the way, he's a chiropractor. Josh Axe, DC. Oh, DC, what's that stand for? Chiropractor. Brad Glowacki, chiropractor. Tony Ebel, chiropractor. Patrick fucking Gentempo. Oh, we've been talking about him lately, chiropractor. Devin Verana, chiropractor. James Chestnut, we talked about him, chiropractor. Guy Reicherman, chiropractor. Hugo Gibson, chiropractor. Mary Holland, we've talked about her as well. Del fucking Bigtree from the Vaxxed movie. Okay. Robert F. Kennedy, one of the main leading people behind the anti-vax movement. Zach Bush, we just talked about him. Keep going down. And Fran Drescher, an actual legitimate celebrity, doesn't even have top billing. She's on the bottom. That's bizarre. Why is it that there is a rock and roll TED Talk convention full of chiropractors? Well, probably because they all like to cross-promote each other, which I've detailed out before. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because somebody sent me this clip of one of the speakers there, and it really bothered me, and I want to share it with you.
Do you hear the babies crying? That high-pitched scream? The high-pitched scream from their flu shot without mercury? Because their brains are swelling, expanding their skull, and their pain is so great that they have that high-pitched scream that's actually listed in the vaccine insert as a side effect.
High-pitched scream is listed as a side effect in the vaccine insert. I don't actually think that's true. This, by the way, is Heather Wolfson, DC. DC, of course, stands for Doctor of Chiropractic Medicine. Okay, another damn chiropractor. But her and her husband are rather well renowned, and we'll look at that in a second. But listen to what she says here.
And they're screaming and they're crying for weeks. You hear that? I do, because I was given a gift. A gift to be on this stage, to change the world and save these babies, but it's a curse at the same time. Because I cry myself to sleep listening to those voices.
So it's a gift that you were put on the stage to save the babies, but oh, it's also a curse because at night I hear the voices that scream at children. I think that's mental illness, lady, but whatever.
Oh, Vaxxed. Anybody actually watch the movie? From cover-up to catastrophe. The only catastrophe is the ending of the film.
Woo!
That's the catastrophe. Woo! Think it would have helped that guy from the film? The 20-year-old in fucking diapers drinking a bottle and jerking off on his parents' couch for the rest of his life?
How compassionate of you. That is a picture of Brian Hooker's son from the movie Vaxxed. And while she blasts this embarrassing picture of this poor autistic kid, this grown man in diapers, drinking from a bottle, jerking off on his parents' couch for the rest of his life. Lady, you are a saint. This wonderful living saint of a human being, Heather Wolfson. Oh my God, what a Christ-like figure, yeah. Oh, and even more so, her husband, this charmer, Jack Wolfson, well, we've got some interesting stuff on him, too. So back in 2014, CNN interviewed Dr. Jack Wolfson, and Dr. Jack Wolfson had some rather sketchy things to say.
Could you live with yourself if your child got another child sick? I mean, really sick, had complications, even death.
I could live with myself very easily.
It's a very unfortunate thing that people die, but unfortunately people die.
And I'm not going to put my child at risk to save another child. I'm not going to sacrifice the well-being of my child. My child is pure.
My child is pure. My child is pure.
That's right. My child is pure. That's why I don't care if my unvaccinated, disease-ridden spawn comes into a school and accidentally gives measles to an immunocompromised cancer kid and they fucking die. Not my fault. I don't really care. My kid is pure. Yeah, that doesn't sound sketchy and freaky at all. But hopefully now you have a broader understanding of who the Doctors Wolfson are and how god-awful CalJam is. But something tells me we'll probably be talking about them more in the future. All right, so the second story that we're going to be talking about today is all about how the gross, negligent, and arrogant behavior of a supplement pusher ended up getting a young diabetic teen killed. So,
counting out loud the chest compressions on Edgar Lopez, a 13-year-old with type 1 diabetes. Not a fatal disease, yet Edgar was failing. Played in court as jurors wept, Edgar's brother Daniel following the instructions of a 911 operator. He testified that the defendant, Timothy Morrow, a promoter of herbal treatments, had repeatedly warned the family that the health system profited by keeping people sick. Warned against taking Edgar to the hospital.
That's right. Some jackass online who sells supplements, herbal supplements, through a company called Common Sense Herbs. This jackass who for years has been pushing all sorts of random ass, just garbage, the kind of things that you would find in your Whole Foods natural supplement shit, would continually and repeatedly try and tell people things like insulin is not the way to treat diabetes. In fact, in one clip I found of it, he said that you could use watermelon as a replacement for insulin. That's right. But no, instead, this family got conned into thinking that they shouldn't be giving their diabetic son insulin. And this is what happened.
Warned against insulin.
He told us that it was evil and that it was a man-made product in order to keep doctors in business.
Morrow's tool to diagnose illness, a device to look into the irises of Edgar's eyes. His prescription.
When he brought over the lavender oil, he told us to use it to pat him or put it on his spine, and that the lavender oil would relax him.
Morrow is accused.
That's right. Don't take your insulin. Instead, use lavender oil. That's gonna work. The sum and total of the story is that unfortunately this young boy did die. Did die because he was misled by this person speaking as a health expert. Now, far too often in these types of cases, the person who does this does not actually see any jail time. Well, I am happy to say that Timothy Morrow will see jail time. Unfortunately, it's for misdemeanor practicing without a license. Practicing without a license, without a medical degree, is a misdemeanor. Figure that one out. And he's only going to go to jail for 4 months. So whereas it's nice that he is actually being prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, unfortunately, in my opinion, isn't really stern enough, and this asshole's going to be out in a few months. Told ya, some of these stories are going to make you mad. Now, the third story we're going to be looking at today is actually something rather random that I found, and we're going to have to look at a very tragic story and what kind of horrible, shitty things that are happening after the fact. Check this out. I'd like to introduce you to Light for Riley, and Light for Riley is a campaign that was started by two parents after the loss of their child, little Riley. Now, what happened is, earlier this year, something very unlucky happened to our family. Our beautiful baby boy Riley contracted whoopee cough, pertussis, and passed away at just 4 weeks old, too young to get his first round of immunizations. Now, this is unfortunate because obviously pertussis, whooping cough, is a vaccine-preventable disease. And we rely on things like herd immunity and everybody else being vaccinated so that little babies like this don't contract it and don't potentially die. So what they decided to do was to take their tragedy and use it as a platform to raise money for the Princess Margaret Hospital Foundation in Perth and generate vaccine donations for UNICEF. That is awesome. That is taking something that would leave many people shattered and completely incapable of doing anything else for a very long time as they're riddled with grief and turning it into something positive. That's great. The problem is that on the internet, everybody's an activist. And if you are bought into a cult-like mindset like the anti-vax movement, sometimes you do really, really terrible, shitty things. You see, I was sent this Facebook group called Light for Riley Fact Checker. And this is a group of people, granted it's not that many, it's only about 756 people, who are habitually and repeatedly stalking the shit out of the Light for Riley campaign. And in their words, they try and say that they're just trying to counter misinformation. But as you'll see, their form of valiant countering misinformation usually takes the form of really, really shitty behavior. Before Light for Riley, there was Dana McCaffrey, the first face of adult pertussis vaccination in Australia. Like Light for Riley parents, the McCaffreys are accomplished and predatory liars. Like Riley Hughes, Dana McCaffrey was too young to be vaccinated, and higher rates of vaccination would not have protected her by way of herd immunity, which does not exist for pertussis. Yes, it does. There, we fixed the headline. As we speak, these so-called grieving parents are attempting to procure vaccine mandates in Western Australia. So-called grieving parents? Really? Okay. So instead of, I never imagined my baby's death would make me the target of anti-vaxxers, to, I never imagined that procuring vaccine mandates by lying to members of parliament about my baby's death to the effect that higher vaccination rates would have saved him by way of herd immunity would make me the target of caring parents who have been denied welfare payments, subsidies, and access to childcare and kindergarten services based on my lies. And this is probably one of the most charming ones. You see, Light for Riley posted, today would have been your 4th birthday, with a broken heart emoji, hashtag whooping cough, hashtag please vaccinate. And of course, these fact-checking, compassionate anti-vaxxers then put hashtag wouldn't have made a difference, hashtag wouldn't have saved him, hashtag grieve like a normal person, hashtag leave our babies alone. You charming people. Wow. Well, there you go. There's 3 basic examples of extremely bad behavior from the naturalistic anti-vax side of things. And this job that I do can really get to me at times. It can wear me down. It can make me pretty upset. But sometimes you get a win. And sometimes those wins can be pretty big. So I'm very, very happy to be reporting on this story that just came out yesterday. Anti-vaccine movies disappear from Amazon after CNN Business report. Amazon has apparently started removing anti-vaccine documentaries from its Amazon Prime Video streaming service. The move came days after a CNN Business report highlighting the anti-vaccine comment available on the site, and hours after Representative Adam Schiff wrote an open letter to Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos, saying he's concerned that Amazon is surfacing and recommending anti-vaccination books and movies. Anti-vaccine movies that were previously available free for Prime subscribers, like We Don't Vaccinate, Shoot 'em Up, The Truth About Vaccines, and Vaxxed, From Cover-Up to Catastrophe, are now currently unavailable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Vaxxed is down. It's down. It's off Amazon. And honestly, I could not be happier. This does get into the whole debate of, well, my free speech. Well, nobody stopped them from making the movie, and nobody's stopping them from trying to put it on a platform that will field it. But Amazon has every right to take it down. And honestly, I'm glad that they are, because if anything I've been proving over the past months and months that I've been working on my Vax series, which I'm going to keep working on, is that every single thing in that movie is a lie. Now, when I search for Vaxxed on Amazon Prime Video, nope, it ain't there. It's gone. And I can't tell you how good this feels. But like I said, I'm going to keep doing this series because when I make these videos on Vax, I'm not making them specifically for people who already know that it's bullshit, I'm making my series for anti-vaxxers who have watched Vax, who believe in Vax. I'm making them for people who know people like that so that they have good tools to argue for why the movie is bullshit. Hopefully, you can get your anti-vaccination friends who are all up in arms about the Vax train to watch my video, and I dare them to try and counter the things that I've exposed in that. I would love to see it. Come at me with it. But actual real refutations, not just simply, well, here's a YouTube video that just says something that I agree with. No, tell me. Tell me. I would love to see it. Absolutely. Maybe we'll make a video just on that. Anyway, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Happy March. Getting into spring a little bit. Feeling a lot better. Feeling pretty good. I hope you are well, and I hope your family is well. From mine to yours, take care of yourself and each other. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, everybody. I would like to introduce you to Light for Riley. And Light... Sorry, I got a case of the turkeys all of a sudden.